Hi, in this video, a Sansui SE-500, a 10-band graphic equalizer made in Japan in 1985. Let's have a look at it first, and later in the video, I will also be showing how to hook it up. 10-band per channel, and with each slider, you can add 12 decibels or take away 12 decibels in that given frequency range, and that is a little unusual, as normally it would be 10 decibels you can add or subtract from a given frequency. But here we go, this is a Sansui, so it's a little bit different. And that will also be evident looking inside the machine as well. Unfortunately, the sliders do not light up, and there's no LED in the sliders. The only LED is a power LED in this machine, and there's no indicators for anything else. Let's have a look at the frequency range adjustability through the sliders. And let's have a look at the power button, which is also on the left hand side of the machine, right there. With this, you would obviously turn the machine on and off. And as I've mentioned earlier, this is the only button that comes with an indicator, and that is the one here. The other two buttons on the right hand side are for selecting source or tape on the line input button, and the equalization button is just that. Once pressed in, the sound is equalized, or press it again to turn off the equalization for a flat sound. The frequency ranges are 30 Hz, 60 Hz, 125 Hz, 250 Hz, 500 Hz, 1 kHz, 2 kHz, 4 kHz, 8 kHz, and 16 kHz. And looking inside the machine, it does look a little bit different and unusual as promised. This is looking from the back of the machine towards the front fascia, or towards the back of the front fascia. With a transformer at the back of the machine, and the power board on the side of the machine close to the transformer there as well. Now looking from the front and above towards the back of the machine. Here are the two selector switches, and not a lot on those boards. Looking at the underneath of the machine, and those feet, they're a bit of a disappointment, and they do not come off. So disappointment for more than one reason. Otherwise, it's a fairly attractive looking device. Let's check out the back of the machine and the connectors. From what I was able to gather, these were only made for 1 year in between 1985 and 1986 in Japan. Consume only 5 watts of power. a power socket on the back of it to plug in some of the other components. And here are the connectors. The connectors on the right hand side have fairly standard labeling as per other equalizers, record and play. However, the connectors on the left hand side are preamp in and preamp out. And that is because this equalizer was part of a system. Now I found some components to plug this into, but let's have a look how this system that this equalizer was a part of, how that looked like. And this is it. Looking at the back of the system I just threw together and looking how everything's plugged in from the equalizer to the cassette deck, and from the equalizer to the amp, but let's have a close-up look and let's have a look how it's actually all plugged in and what goes where. At the back of the EQ, connectors labelled tape are labelled rec for recording and play. These are connected to the cassette deck. On this cassette deck they are labelled line out and line in. The line out on the black cables is connected to play on the EQ, and line in on the grey cables is connected to the recording on the EQ, and that's the cassette deck connected. And these connectors are labelled source in and preamp out, and these connect to the amp. On this particular amp they are labelled tape PB on black cables and recording out on grey cables. Connector marked tape PB or play on the black cables is connected to the preamp out on the EQ connectors, and recording out on the amp on the grey cables is connected to the source in on the EQ connectors, and that's the connection with the amp. And now you're ready to use your equalizer. This particular amp does not have preamp connectors, so this is all you need in a case like this. I've tried to keep it as easy as possible to understand and visually as well, with the grey and the black cables and so forth. If you have to, rewatch this section again. And now let's check out how this Sansui SE-500 10-band graphic equalizer works. All connected up. For that, I'm going to use the Sony Premium EF from the last video. Deck is a Marantz SD555. Thanks for watching. See you in the next or the previous video.